The formidable F-22 Raptor just got even scarier. Renowned for its advanced tactical capabilities, this fighter has always been a force to reckon with. Nevertheless, the U.S. military has decided to push its boundaries and make it the ideal next-generation fighter jet. However, this upgraded version has increased the curiosity level of several nations and has also been registered as a threat to rivals. What are the latest upgrades on this fighter jet? What effect would this upgrade have on modern warfare? Join us as we dive into the intriguing details of the F-22 that just got scarier and has shocked China and Russia. Several years after the F-22 was unveiled to the public and became operational and in use by the United States Air Force, China's stealth fighter, the J-20 Mighty Dragon, was unveiled. This fighter jet caused a lot of controversy because it was quite similar to the Raptor that was unveiled by the United States as the world's first advanced stealth fighter. These controversies led to several secrets being unfolded, but before we delve into that, let's talk about what happened within years that led to the creation of China's J-20. The relationship between both China and the U.S. has undeniably deteriorated over the last few decades, but these recent events made it even worse. In 2008, when China started working on its first stealth fighter jet, an individual known as Su Bin, who was Chinese living in Canada and working in the aviation industry, came up with a conspiracy. He teamed up with skilled hackers and high-ranking people from the Chinese army in order to actualize his plans. Su Bin's plan was to steal a couple of top-secret American military information. In Canada, Su Bin changed his name to Stephen Su and ran a small company called Load Tech. Although Load Tech wasn't well known and had only a few employees, Su Bin worked really hard to connect with people in the Canadian and American defense industries. He built a big network of contacts, which helped him get access to secret information from different defense contractors. He succeeded in stealing these top-secret files from Boeing, including many related to the F-22 stealth fighter projects. He also got access to lots of other classified information, storing terabytes of data that shouldn't have been in his country's hands. In 2014, Su Bin got caught and was tried in court, and was later found guilty after admitting to his crimes of stealing top-secret information from the U.S. military and giving it to China. However, aside from punishing the perpetrator, the United States could not reduce the damage done because the classified information was already in the hands of their rival. Not long after, China unveiled its new stealth fighter, and guess what? It looked like a replica of the formidable F-22, with the only changes like being the inlet shapes, new stabilizers, and powerful engines. But even after stealing the United States' design, can the J-20 Mighty Dragon outperform the F-22? The Raptor is an American fighter jet that was developed by the renowned aviation companies, Lockheed Martin and Boeing. It is designed to fly at extremely fast speed, to be invisible from radar and able to fly efficiently in any weather. Originally, it was designed to be the best at fighting other fighter jets, but it can also perform ground attacks with insane precision and also carry out other special tasks like electronic warfare and gathering intelligence and information. In 1981, the United States Air Force realized they needed a new kind of fighter jet to replace older ones like the F-15 Eagle and F-16 Fighting Falcon. They also wanted this replacement to be stealthy and able to fly really fast without needing a lot of fuel. This new aircraft, which was referred to as the Advanced Tactical Fighter, was meant to be really good at fighting other aircrafts and also able to attack targets on the ground. They also referred to the project as Senior Sky because they were worried about threats from other countries, like the Soviet Union. They were especially concerned about new weapons the Soviets were developing, like better missiles and fighter jets. The Air Force asked companies to give them ideas for this new fighter jet in 1981. They formed a special team to work on the concepts and new technologies needed. Then, in 1983, This team became the ATF System Program Office and started working on the project at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. They kept refining their ideas, and in 1985, they asked these companies to come up with real designs and prototypes for testing. Eventually, Lockheed Martin was put in charge of building the aircraft, including all the weapons that it is equipped with, while Boeing worked on building some parts and systems. It had its first flight in 1997 and was called different names like F-22 and F-22 before it officially started being operational in December 2005 as the F-22A. The aircraft is the most expensive fighter jet in history, with a unit cost of $350 million. Even though the Air Force planned to buy 750 of these jets, they ended up only making 187 because it was too expensive, and there weren't as many air-to-air missions as they thought. This led to the development of another cheaper jet called the F-35. The F-35 Lightning II is an American fighter jet made by Lockheed Martin. It shares similarity with the F-22 because it's designed to do a lot of different jobs like fighting other jets, attacking targets on the ground, and gathering information. Lockheed Martin was also in charge of making this cheaper option, but instead of working with Boeing alone, they worked with other companies like Northrop Grumman and BAE Systems. There are three main versions of the aircraft: one that takes off and lands conventionally, one that can take off and land vertically, and one that can operate from aircraft carriers. That would be all on the F-35. The last F-22 was made in 2012. Even though it took a long time to develop and had some problems at first, it became really important for the Air Force's jets and will be a key part of their fighter jets until they replace it with a new one in the future. The Raptor is a modern fighter jet that's really advanced. It's the first jet to have features like being able to fly really fast without using too much fuel, being able to move in tricky ways, and being hard to detect by radar. This jet is designed to do missions where it needs to fight other jets or protect against attacks in dangerous areas. Its shape is special because it helps it be both fast and hard to spot on radar. Its wings and body are shaped in a way that reduces how much radar can detect it. It also has special parts like flaps and tails that help it control its movements during flight. The jet can carry its weapons inside, which helps it stay hidden from radar. It can also refuel while flying and has landing gear in case of emergencies. Additionally, it has safety features like a fire suppression system and a system to keep its fuel tanks safe. This Reverett fighter is propelled by two powerful Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines that are placed close together. These engines can move up and down to help control the jet's direction, and they are connected to the jet's controls and management system. Each engine can produce a lot of thrust, about 35,000 pounds. When the jet is flying with all its equipment, it can move almost as much weight as its engines can push, making it very maneuverable. The way the air is directed into the engines helps the jet fly smoothly and efficiently at high speeds. Without carrying any extra equipment, the F-22 can go up to about Mach 1.8 using just its engines, and more than Mach 2 when using afterburners, with its internal fuel and extra fuel tanks. It can fly over 1,600 nautical miles. This aircraft can fly faster and higher than older fighter jets, which helps its sensors and weapons work better and makes it harder to shoot down by things like missiles from the ground. It can fly at supersonic speeds without needing extra fuel, allowing it to reach targets that other jets would run out of fuel before reaching. Also, because it carries its weapons inside, it can fly faster and farther than other fighters that have weapons hanging outside, causing more drag. With its powerful engines and design, it can fly at speeds of Mach 1.5 at 50,000 feet, giving its missiles a longer range. Its structure is made with strong materials to handle the stress and heat of flying really fast for a long time, making it tough and able to survive attacks. The jet's design, stability, and powerful engines make it really good at maneuvering and keeping its energy during flight. It has big control surfaces and special parts that help it fly at high angles and do complex maneuvers like the J-turn and Cobra. The computer systems on the jet help the pilot control it easily and make sure it stays safe during flight. The F-22 Raptor has a modern cockpit with digital screens instead of traditional gauges. It has a wide display in front of the pilot and 6 smaller color screens. The pilot controls the jet with a stick and throttles. Also, the canopy was initially big and heavy, but it has been designed because it didn't meet the durability standards. The developers weren't kidding about the use of advanced technology. Unlike other aircraft, this fighter jet has inbuilt radio features, and its control panel allows the pilot to enter different information like communication and navigation settings. Also, there are also smaller screens around the control panel that show important warnings and flight data. Additionally, there are also bigger screens for other information and navigation, and smaller ones for tactical details. Inside this fighter jet are 3 compartments used to carry weapons. There's one big area underneath the fuselage and 2 smaller ones on the sides, towards the back. The big compartments in the middle can carry about 6 launchers for long-range missiles, while each side compartment can hold 1 launcher for short-range missiles. The main missiles that can be found on the jet are the AIM-120 AMRAAM and the AIM-9 Sidewinder. To keep it always ready to defend itself, there is also a cannon that shoots bullets from the jet's wing, and the pilot can see where the bullets are going on their display. The big compartment can also carry bombs. Let's discuss the feature that makes it stand out, the stealthy design. The F-22 was designed to be invincible, which simply means that when it comes across radar waves, they either bounce off in different directions, get absorbed by the airframe material, or even get weak. This stealthy feature is achieved by shaping the jet's body in such a way that it doesn't reflect radar. They also paid attention to the small features on the aircraft like the hinges and the helmet, because these things could also give off radar signals. That aside, the F-22 was also designed to emit less radio waves, emits less heat, and makes less noise, which makes it harder to spot with the naked eye. Unlike older stealth jets, the F-22 does not rely on radar-absorbent material because they require a lot of maintenance and can be affected by bad weather. To ensure that the airframe remains stealthy, the aircraft has a system that notifies the pilot or the maintenance crew when the radar signature has been compromised, has gotten weaker, or requires to be fixed. However, information concerning how hard it is to spot the F-22 is classified, so it is very hard to determine how effective the F-22's stealth is. However, radar can detect it better from certain angles, especially when it is moving. Also, it might be good at hiding from high-frequency radars, but it might be easier for radars with low frequency to spot it. Despite this, it is still hard for enemies to track and attack it. In 2021, the F-22 tested a new shiny coating that might help it to even become harder to spot with infrared tracking systems and missiles. This coating has also been tested on other popular jets like the F-35 and the F-117. 8 years after the F-22 became operational, China revealed its very own stealth fighter, and, as mentioned earlier, it shared some characteristics with the famous Raptor. The Chengdu J-20, also known as the Mighty Dragon, while its NATO reporting name is the Fagin, is a stealth fighter jet that was developed by China's Chengdu Aerospace Corporation for the People's Liberation Army Air Force. Just like the Raptor, it was designed to be really hard to detect by radar and can perform efficiently in any type of weather. But unlike the US fighter, it is available in 3 versions. The original J-20A, the J-20B with thrust vectoring, and the J-20S, which has the capacity for 2 pilots. This jet originated from a program that started in the 1990s, and it was first tested in 2011. Eventually, it was officially unveiled to the public in 2016, after which it became operational in March 2017. With this jet, China became the second country in the world and the first in Asia to have a stealth aircraft in action. The J-20 has a long and smooth body with a sharp nose and a canopy without a frame. Behind the cockpit, there are special air inlets, known as the diverterless supersonic inlets, and these inlets lead to movable surfaces called the canards, the two wing extensions that merge into a delta-shaped wing. At the back, there are two fins that tilt outward, short but deep fins that are under the jet and stealthy engine exhausts. One thing that makes this aircraft different is that it is designed to be very unstable. This means that it can change direction quickly, which is very important for a fighter jet. Instead of the tail that is used on regular aircrafts, it used canards, which would help it stay in control even when it is at high angles. Canards also make it good at flying at extreme speeds and complex maneuvers. The design also allows it to produce more lifts than usual, which helps it stay in air and turn quickly. In addition to what can be found in the cockpit of this fighter, there are also advanced sensors and a communication system that keeps the pilot aware of situations around the jet. The jet also has a system that helps it to avoid being detected by enemy radar and other electronics. The aircraft can carry a variety of weapons, including long-range missiles and precision bombs. It does not have an inbuilt gun, which means that it is meant for long-range attacks rather than close combat. It can also carry extra fuel tanks on its wings to fly longer distances. Also, its engines have been upgraded over time to make the jet faster and more maneuverable. To sum it up, the J-20 is designed to be stealthy and effective in combat, even though people often ask about how well it can stay invisible from radars and infrared. Many people agree that it is more stealthy than the Russian jets, but not as stealthy as the F-22. However, whether the J-20's features are similar to that of the F-22 or not, the new upgrades on the F-22 has made the jet more scary and undeniably unrivaled. These upgrades would make China have a hard time challenging the F-22 in terms of capabilities and even stealthiness. Let's have a look at the upgrades. In Dayton, Ohio, the U.S. Air Force and Lockheed Martin are starting the second phase of yearly updates to the F-22 fleet. They're planning to make software changes and quick upgrades that will set the stage for how future aircraft will be maintained. Even though the Air Force plans to retire the F-22 once the secretive next-generation air dominance platform is ready, they're still spending a lot of money to keep it up to date. The USAF budgeted $3.5 billion for research, development, testing, and evaluation for the fleet in fiscal 2024, with $19.5 billion planned over the next 5 years. Dale White, the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center's Program Executive Officer for Fighters and Advanced Aircraft, mentioned that these investments are very crucial in ensuring that the F-22 remains effective against current and future threats. He also explained to reporters that the advancements made for the jet will also contribute to the development of future technologies, including NGAD. After the completion of a major upgrade on the F-22, known as Increment 3.2B in 2020 to 2021, Aviation Company, Lockheed Martin and the Air Force have shifted their focus to another approach, a new one called the Raptor Agile Capable Release Program. The first phase was completed in 2022, and it focused on updating the jet's hardware to allow it to transmit Link 16 data. The second phase is the RACR-2, is a software modification program that has recently been approved and is now being implemented, while the third phase, or the Release 3, is expected to follow about 12 to 18 months later. In addition to the software upgrades, the United States Air Force and Lockheed are working together to improve the F-22's range by testing the low-drag tanks and pylons. However, these improvements will be rolled out after the installation of the RACR Release 2. Lockheed is carrying out these upgrades under the Advanced Raptor Enhancement and Sustainment contract that is worth a whopping amount of $10.9 billion. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.